I forgot to turn the mic on again, didn't I? Okay, fuck. Oh. To Choconnichi wa. Sup, bitches? I am Choco Minato, flavors forgetful fighting fanatic. Very forgetful. I didn't even know that. So forgetful that I actually didn't know that Evo announced their games the other day that they're gonna be having for Evo Vegas. Also, Evo Japan. I yeah, day late and dollar short as these things tend to go. I'm a that fighting game stream. I haven't been paying attention to the scene in like over a year now, but uh, let me pull this up real quick. You know what? Hold on. I was gonna pull it up. I'm gonna stay here for a while. Can I do this? Cool. I can do that. Cool. Oh, but now you can't see it. Hmm. Okay, hold up a second. You know what? This will have to work. This will work. So I want to talk a little bit about the games that Evo announced for the I don't know what to call it. I mean, I guess I call it Evo. That Evo announced this year for Evo Vegas. There was also a separate video for Evo Japan, but I don't think there was one for Evo. Fuck, what was the next one? I think Evo France happened already. It's weird. It's so fucking weird because now that Evo's like going for more like of a. I mean, I guess you can call it a globetrotting thing. Really, it's more of a tourism thing, but it really is more of a tourism thing, right? But because there's going to be like multiple Evos a year, I think there's like 3 a year because it's going to be Evo Vegas with Evo, which has been uh, which has been changed to Evo Vegas, right? Because you can't call it Evo anymore because now there's multiple ones a year. So there's Evo normal, and then there's Evo bracket Japan, and then there's a third one which is whenever the fuck they decide to have a. I guess whenever the staff decides to have vacation or something. I don't fucking know. Hey, Kaleko, what's up? Shouldn't you be bothering Malone? All right, he doesn't read chat. Wait, doesn't he have the? Didn't he? Doesn't he still have the TTS one? I strike him as the kind to forget to turn it off, so it should still be on. Whatever. Anyway, how you doing, bitch? What's up, Clinka? I've decided that I want to go back to doing dark streams where I just go live and just do or say shit without advertising it. Right? Malone is very focused on the game, even with DTS. Somewhat surprising, actually. Good? Question mark. Um. Ooh. You need to sleep. Well, then go on and sleep then. Thanks for the view, I guess. Whatever. I shouldn't be like that. Thanks for the plus one, but yeah, go on, go to sleep. Um. But yeah, I do want to go back to doing dark streams because I mean, the doc was right. Like, yeah, pressing the go live, but I mean, for me, pressing the go live button isn't the hardest thing to do. The hardest thing to do is actually announcing that I'm pressing the go live button. I've been spinning my wheels for fucking weeks about, oh, here's something I could do, here's something I could do, here's something I should do. And then the moment passes because I don't want to put the tweet up that I'm going live. And so I don't. And then the moment passes. I say weeks, but it's been more like months, honestly. There's so many. It's been all year, I'm gonna be honest. There's so many streams that I wanted to do, but I didn't want to announce. So I just didn't do them. Eh. Oh, you need to sleep, but you can't. Um. Have you tried? When I'm real tired and I can't sleep, I just well, if stretches don't work, and if melatonin don't work, which it should, but assuming you don't want to pay for no melatonin gummies or whatever. Although that might be bad, I don't think you'd want to get a dependency on those. Um, I start working out when I'm tired. Because then, even if I physically can't sleep, I'll be too tired to move. Uh, uh, You've come to make an announcement. Karl Malone is a stinky baka. But yeah, I think he would wear that with pride. Well, I don't know if he's all that stinky. Well, I don't know. Caramel has a very specific kind of smell to it. And with Malone, right? Uh, he probably smells more like coffee than anything. So, I mean, I guess that's a good stink. I don't know, because stink is normally used as a pejorative, right? But there is such things as good stinks. Coffee is a good stink. Mint's a good stink. I used to carry mint. I used to carry mint when I was younger, just to smell. I thought it smelled nice. I probably should do it again. It was pretty calming actually. Now that I think about it. Mm. No, but anyway, I don't have a plan. When do I ever, right? But I just want to talk a bit about the games that Evo announced this year that they're going to be hosting. Well, next year for Evo, Evo bracket Vegas. There was also another year for Evo bracket Japan, and I don't remember what the third Evo this year is going to be. It's like some sort of touristy shit. Because France was this year. I don't remember what next year was. Uh, it just dawned on me. It just dawned on me. You could cover the Choco Minato ice song. Choco Minto ice. Oh yeah, Choco. Oh yeah, the Gyari song. Choco Minto ice. Choco Minto. Yeah, I like Gyari. I like Gyari. I I oh, every time I think of Gyari, it makes me want to go check on bombs, but I think they're all dead now. I know there was like a I know there was like a second team of Voms of the Vox monsters that were made, but as far as I could tell, I don't think Voms is still kicking. God damn, that's really cool. Cause Pika Me was the big breakout store, and then right behind, I think it was like Pika Me and then Tomoshika were like the two, but then Pika Me graduated, and then what was the Magnum one? Jitome. Jitome also graduated. Tomoshika plus the new three, then another gen. Huh. I remember liking Tomoshika. Jitome. Yeah, Jitome Monoe. Yeah. The original three. Yeah, Pika, Tomoshika, and Jitome. I remember. Yeah, I think the second group was like, it was like guys, right? It was like a male group, or it was like, but I didn't know there was a. But anyway, by the time I stopped watching Voms, there was only like four. There was like four, because both Jitome and Pika Me graduated at that point, and then there was like the second wave. Manoya was her first graduation experience, just as he was getting into her singing. I'll be honest, I did not watch too much of Jitome. She seemed to, based on her design, I figured that she would be more of like a kudere type, like the kind of like almost like monotonous, not monotonous. The kind of character that like speaks really monotone, like almost robotic. And I that's probably wrong because, like I said, I didn't watch too much of it. But judging by like what her design was, I figured she'd be more of that kind of character. And I at that time I preferred more not outland. I guess outlandish personality is like the most gun peek of me. She's like Anya from Hollow Idea. That that doesn't help because I don't watch Anya. I don't have anything bad to say about her, but when it came to ID, I was like I was mostly watching uh Ali, uh a little bit of Muna, a little bit of Muna, but mainly Ali and Risu. I liked Risu. I liked oh god, I can't remember her name. Fake fan, fake fan, fake fan. The peacock. I keep wanting to say Petra. I know it's not Petra. It's not Petra, because that's a fucking Niji character, a dead Niji character. The one that had the model done by the artist that made the MILF manga about the MMO MILF manga. I need to look this up. I need to look this up. Hello, love ID. Hold on, love ID. Ask Soren. Uh, I refuse. Pavlovia Raine. I liked her. Kobo, I like Kobo, but I don't think I've ever actually watched a Kobo stream. She's in so many collabs. I just tend to watch her when she's in collabs with other people. Kayla's pretty cool. I would. So I like Kayla. Kayla. I like Kayla, but the problem is that I don't like block game, and that's basically all that she does. Her block game autism is like, yeah, I'm not really into that. But Kayla's chill. I like her. Airani. When it comes to like Airani, I feel I would watch her more if she did more drawing streams. Cause I would watch Airani and Ina. I would also watch Ina a lot more if she just did more drawing streams. Granted, when I stopped watching Ina, she wasn't doing that many drawing streams. Maybe she's been doing it now, and I just missed that boat. Because that happens to me too a lot. Out of sight, out of mind, right? He refuses. Whole idea is always fun to get into because they just stay winning. Might be good for one's mental health. El Mao. Yeah, Hollow. I'm trying to remember like any drama Hollow D was in, and I can't really think of any. I mean, Ali says a couple of things, but yeah, but I don't think it ever. Yeah, I don't think Ali ever said anything that led to like any major backlash. Yeah, ID just seemed really good, really chill. Kyla hasn't streamed block game in a while. She's a good game generalist. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Because because Kyla was just doing Minecraft for so fucking long. I just mentally associate her with block game, and it's like I already have Cleo for my I already have Cleo for my sleep aid ASMR VTuber, so I don't really need Kyla for that. Hold up a second. Hold up a second. I gotta move a couple of things over. Give me a second. I could do this. I could do this. Yeah, should this will work. Move this over here. Yeah, okay, that'll work. Okay. I'm still trying to find a good format for my 1.5 screens. Because if I move my head over here to focus on the chat, it moves my head away from the mic, so I'm harder to understand, even more than normal. So I gotta. So I made a. So I made a fake screen and put it over here. Or I made a second instance of my stream it, open it over here, so it's easy for me to read or do things at the same time. But now I basically have two screens with the same shit on it. Ugh. Anyway, what was I talking about? I mean, before Holo, right? It's right here on the fucking screen. Evo Las Vegas. So, for the uninitiated, Evo Evolution Championship Series is basically the fighting game Olympics. And much like the Olympics, I'm pretty sure there's a. Okay, I can't prove it, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of fucking corruption and seedy back deals that go on, but I can't prove it. I can only speculate. Anyway, so for the past couple of years, Evo got bought out by. Fuck, I forgot who. Because it was bought out by Sony, and then I think some fucking Saudi org bought it, and are rapidly expanding. Rapidly expanding to a degree that I would argue is actually not untenable. That's not the word I wanted to say. Unsustainable. That's the word I want to say. It's expanding at a rate that I think is unsustainable, because now instead of having one Evo every year, there's like three. One in Las Vegas, one in Japan, and one in whatever. Well, the third one is like, oh yeah, it's just like they're Nijiing out a little bit, yeah. Having two Evos was a year was fine, because you get one. Because even though like the Las Vegas one was like the main one, it also meant that, you know, expand, crash and burn. Yup, we're not there yet, but I think that Evo is going to completely crash and burn in, like, I'll be nice and say 5 years. There is no way that this level of expansion is going to be able to stick around. Two, because you have already two standard a year, and then you have a third one that changes every year, which is like which is usually like. I mean, well, one of them was France. I think one of them is going to be in. I don't forget. I forget. I completely forgot because it made up such a big deal about it, and it just slid on. It just slid off my fucking head like oil. My brain's too smooth to retain all this shit. So I just tune it out. And Splat, how you doing? Choconnichi, what's up, bitch? But anyway, having two Evos here was fine enough as is, right? Because Japan are really good at keeping games alive, and it's also a shorter trip for a lot of people who felt that flying over to Vegas was too expensive. So you could fly over here in Japan and have your Evo over there. I was confused why you were talking. Why you were. Looks like it's time to oil. What does Hakan got to do with any of this? Looks like it's time to oil up. What the fuck does Hakan have anything to do with this? I was confused why you were talking my everyone's most beloved clanker, Evil Nero. I should watch more Neuro. End of thought. I should watch more Neuro. Okay. Okay. You two are just shit posting. All right. Well, yeah. Okay. Okay. So, Evil Vegas Game 1, Street Fighter, no brainer. Street Fighter still is popular and as played as it when it came out, even more so, especially over in Japan. But Street Fighter is no brainer. Good game. Good game that you said something sliding off my head like oil. Oh yeah, no, all the information about how Evo's handling things nowadays. Yeah, no, it just slides out. What does what you hear the word oil and you just start thinking of Hakan? What do you go to the grocery store and go? I need to get some olive oil. Like like Hakan, you just start pouring it over yourself and just run out the fucking store. Come on, man. Anyway, Street Fighter 6, no notes. Where'd I put this fucking thing? Oh god damn it! Wait. Yeah, okay. Tekken 8, no notes. I shouldn't say that. They put Nero through a hardcore. They put Nero through a hardcore Minecraft test these last few weeks. The three people playing with her got trauma. Hmm. Man, block game's gonna be eternal, huh? Maybe it's because I just didn't play with Legos as a kid, or maybe it just doesn't touch, doesn't feel up my autism in the same way. I never cared for Minecraft. I don't think I can get into competitive for anything with too complicated controls. Counter Strike is my limit. Well, as someone that doesn't play shooting games, I think that shooting games are pretty fucking complicated. It's just a different type of complexity than what you're used to. Fighting games are actually fighting games are actually quite simple. And you'll be shocked how fast you improve when you're not constantly on the grind thinking about how you can improve. Because a lot of it just comes down to muscle memory, honestly. I mean, if you've watched, I mean, you haven't. I know that you haven't. But if you've ever decided to watch any of the Sage Slams, where they take people of varying skill levels, like a top player, and then like a gradient of like lesser skilled players, and just have them fight each other in like a team tournament format, you would be genuinely shocked how fast, like 1 week of just hanging out and playing, and just having a guy answer all, and having knowing that you have a guy that can just answer all your questions, will get you up to speed. Like, because a lot of fighting, especially in modern times, a lot of the like crazy execution of fighting games has been sanded down. It's all been sandpapered down, and now it's all about the mental stack. Whereas, like, okay, you have to be aware of like 10 different things at the same time, but they're not like difficult to execute. It's just like, oh, you just have to keep like this, and this in the back of your mind at any given point. But you can't. But you can't. No one can keep all that information in the head at the same time. So eventually, you're gonna get hit by an option, and then that rotates the things that you're looking out for, right? And that's not a problem with you. Like, that's a human thing. You just don't have the bandwidth to do all that, to hold all the information at the same time. We there aren't any like upgradable RAM sticks for humans yet. Oh, great. Yeah, great. My Castle Labs is picking up my fucking YouTube. Great. Sick. Okay. I gotta scroll all the way down here to read that. I haven't enjoyed Minecraft in a long while. Changed to vintage story. I don't know what that means, but oh yeah, hi. Oh yeah, hi. Having company is good. It's just the alone training based on YouTube tutorials that makes me depressed. So, well, that's the thing. The alone training by yourself, that's supposed to be for people that are already invested into the finer, like, mechanical depth of fighting games. If you're just starting out, you don't have to worry about any of that shit. Just boot up, find a character you like, find a person you like, and just play. It's really that simple. I tried learning auto showdown and smash past a certain skill ceiling. It feels like it breaks any fun. It's a different block game with deeper survival and crafting mechanics. Okay. I thought Vintage Story was some kind of weird mod for Minecraft. I'm not gonna lie. Tried learning auto showdown and smash past a certain point. It feels like it breaks any fun. Yeah, I get that. I get that. Uh, that's you approach the first wall of fighting games, of getting better at fighting games, which is like, oh yeah, you realize just how dense all the information is, and you wonder, is it worth continuing to push through this shit? Because like, you're kind of like, you've gotten past the point of like, I'm playing this for fun, and like, I'm playing this because I feel like I'm obligated to, because I have to get better at this, right? Or maybe, well, I don't know if I mean, it happened to me, right? and I cracked at that wall. Like after a certain point, I just stopped trying. I stopped putting my nose to the grindstone and getting better at fighting games because it actively made me hate them. So now I just like mash like a fucking scrub and I'm having fun still. You have to you have to separate your ability to have fun in a fighting game. You have to separate that from your win-loss ratio. You just have to accept that even at top level, like you're just gonna get hit by bullshit and you're gonna die, and that's just gonna be the game. Happens to all of us. Happens to the best of us. Happens to the worst of us. That's just how it is. And if you can still have fun in the game despite that, hold on to that game. You found something special. Saying all of this while Tekken is on screen is kind of poetic, honestly, considering how there's been a schism in the Tekken scene since Tekken 8 came out. I mean, you could argue it's always been there, but it's definitely deepened with Tekken 8 because the pro players do not like the system changes that Tekken 8 made. Basically, Tekken 8 basically has introduced some mechanics that make running brain dead offense easier. And high level Tekken is, how to explain this? High level Tekken is a lot like watching boxing, where if you are a boxer or if you have some sort of history with fighting, there is so much nuance you can get from just having two people square up. Not even punching each other yet, just like squaring up, sizing each other up, like measuring distance, right? And that could be the most tense part of a match because you know, and both of the fighters know, there are so many individual things that can happen that can just go wrong at any given moment. And it makes for like really tense situations, even though nothing's really happening, right? But for most of the people in the audience, they don't know about that shit and they don't fucking care. They want to see fucking blood, right? How many matches have you heard being described as boring because there wasn't a fucking knockout in like 3 rounds, or that somebody won by points, right? People generally do not give a fuck about the finer points of fighting games, and that's fine. They don't have to, right? Most people just like buy the game, play it for like a couple of months, maybe a year, and then they sell it and then they move on, right? But people that like dedicate themselves to this shit have to deal with the changes to the games that were made for the people that largely don't care about it. Because you can't have a fighting game be a success and sell less than 1 million copies anymore. A lot of it just comes down to basically fighting games need to sell more to break even to be considered successes, so they have to dumb themselves down to people that don't know about or don't like fighting games because their money's still good too, right? But it creates a situation where the upper end of players hate their own game, but they also have based their entire careers around it, so they have to keep playing it, and they're just kind of burnt out on it and they don't like it anymore, but they can't say that. Especially if you're a commentator, like Sajim talked about it. Like, yeah, he would talk so much shit about Street Fighter V when that game came out that Capcom refused to hire him for official commentary jobs for their major tournaments. And Sajim's like one of like the, I think Sajim's one of the best commentators that's in the FGC right now. He's extremely knowledgeable of a lot of things. It manages to be funny without. He manages to be funny and be hype without screaming into the mic all the time. And there's good people for that. I mean, everybody loves Yipes. Yipes is the guy to go. Yipes and Tasty Steve are like the guys you go for if you want to have just like hype men that are. I mean, both extremely knowledgeable, of course. But if you want hype men as your commentary, you get Tasty Steve or you get Yipes. They're really good at that. Yeah, but Sajim's great. He has like kind of like a almost like a deadpan style of commentary. It's quite nice. I like Sajim's commentary quite a lot. I mean, he also knows when he also he knows when to get hype as well. But it's like I don't know where I'm going with this. Say Jim's good, but yeah, no, he's like one of the best commentators of that, especially of like the five era when like fighting games really started to become mainstream, and you kind of needed people like that while also. And I was also say like for people like Sejim who are also like extremely knowledgeable about non-meta fighting games, right? Because Sejim actually got his start with like Injustice. He got his start with NRS, and I know that, that sounds weird when I use the terms off meta and then NRS in the same sentence, but you have to understand that most people here view NRS games as fucking jokes and don't know anything about them at all. So to have a guy come from the NRS scene, one of the best to do it, come out of the NRS scene, it's pretty nice, and it gives him like a bit more of a rounded approach in his commentary about just how degen fighting games can truly get. Right, a lot of these kids don't understand how degen fighting games used to be, but Sage has been in the trenches. He knows. What was I talking about? Right, Tekken. So, Tekken 8, extremely popular, extremely profitable. However, there were some major changes that were made to the core systems of Tekken 8 that fundamentally changed how Tekken plays, and a lot of pros don't like it. And they've been bitching a storm about Tekken 8 since the game came out. Even before the game came out, when they were still having betas with it and whatnot. And while their complaints are very well warranted, they pale in comparison to the number of casuals that just think Tekken's really cool and just buy the game because it's neat, because it's the new Tekken game. And so we now know, well, because Harada, who's been the general director of Tekken, like since like Tekken 3, basically, it came out in like 98, right? For the past like couple of years, he's kind of been like stepping down from like Tekken because he's retiring, right? And it you took your toes in Age of Empires ranked, same thing. Once you decide to get good, it's a different kind of game. Chess 2, Clanka, every game is like that. Every game's like that. As long as there are people with the drive to get better and better and better, no matter what you're doing, it's gonna be like that. All you could do is like pick something that you like and would naturally want to get better at just by the result of playing with it. You might have issues with grind. That's fine. A lot of people have issues with grind. Sometimes, if the issue is with grinding, then just don't grind. It's that simple, really. Just don't grind it. Just play it on your own pace. Here's the thing, Clanker. Here's the thing, okay? You are not going to be competing for money when you're picking up. So you don't have to care about where your skill level is. When I'm playing fighting games, I'm not competing for fucking money. I'm not competing at all. So why the fuck should I care about how good or bad I am at it? I want to pick cool character and do cool thing, and that's the end of the thought. If I lose, sure. If I win, sure. But I want to pick cool character and do cool things. And sometimes I need to go to training mode to learn how to do cool things. And sometimes even cooler things. Right? It's just like that, right? Find a character, find a game, find a reason to play. And as simple as that. You don't have to put your nose to the grindstone and just keep trying to improve because you feel like, I don't know, like it's a waste of time if you didn't. I don't know. Because there's people like this. Some people thrive in that kind of self-made pressure. I'm not one of them. Okay, what was I talking about? Right. So Tekken, right? it's kind of hard to talk about Tekken in a vacuum. I am doing my best to talk about these games like in a vacuum. Uh, but long story short, Tekken made a lot of changes that pros don't like, but casuals don't care because they don't perceive Tekken at a high enough level for these changes to actually matter to them. But the problem, and this happening. This has been happening for like the past like 10 years, where these long running games are making massive changes to how they are played in order to try and bring in people that are largely ambivalent or don't care about fighting games. And while they bring in money and some popularity, it also kind of erodes away at the well at the old guys that basically made fighting games what they are now, right? That put the fighting game scene where they are now, right? And this happens with everything, right? But there has to be a balance that needs to be made here, because I feel like with this schism between the young guys and the new guys, it's gonna reach a point where it just completely breaks, and we'll like end up with something like what happened with Image Comics in the '90s, where everything was just being made to cater to old people and collectors, like people that were already invested into the hobby, but at the expense of bringing in new blood, and then the market, and then they're, and then they. And as passionate as the old guys are, it's not enough to carry a scene. Not a major scene. You need constant injections of fresh blood, right? Or else it dies out. But the balance that is needed to, I mean, it still has not been figured out, but there is a balance that needs to be needed between like mechanical depth and cool, low effort, cool shit for trailers, right? But back to the boxing analogy, it leads to a problem because like new casuals don't really understand anything past basic attacking and blocking in fighting games, so they don't understand like why balance is not even why balance is important and how meticulous balancing is in a fighting game, or how adding one new thing or changing one new thing or removing one thing can completely shift how a game is played. But again, I don't know. Tekken 8 is as far as Tekken games go, it's pretty experimental. And as much as I hate Rage, as much as I hate the supers in that game, I knew it was coming because again, every fighting game follows what Street Fighter does. That's just what happens, right? Since Virtua Fighter died for a long time, the only other game, popular like top level game that Tekken would be able to take influence from is Street Fighter. And hey, Street Fighter gives you, well, Street Fighter 4 specifically, because it's a holdover, because Rage Arts are basically supers that you get, are supers that unlock at low life, and they allow you to just do a fuck ton of damage for at no cost, basically. Because Street Fighter 4 had that, and so Tekken 7 had it, and now Tekken 8 has it because it's a legacy mechanic now, and it sucks, and I hate it, but that's just what the game is now, and I just have to deal with that. Same thing happened with Mortal Kombat, same thing happened with Dead or Alive, same thing happened with name any fighting game released in the last like 10 years. Anyway, Tekken 8 is still popular, and while a lot of the pro scene kind of don't like it, they have already committed to playing Tekken. Tekken players don't really play anything else. Some competitive games have like crossover between other games. Tekken is not one of those games. Tekken players only play Tekken. Occasionally they might play a bit of Soul Calibur, but that's really it, right? But Soul Calibur's fucking dead, so what are they gonna play? I mean, to be fair, some of them did migrate. Some of them some of the Tekken players did migrate over to Virtua Fighter because they hated Tekken so much, and then they got mad at Virtua Fighter for not playing like Tekken, despite the fact that the core of Tekken's gameplay is from Virtua Fighter. Long story short, every 3D fighting game borrows damn near its entire gameplay system from Virtua Fighter. Virtua Fighter is the 3D equivalent of what Street Fighter 2 was for 2D fighting games. Like it's that influential. Not as popular outside of Japan, but it is definitely like one of the most influential fighting games ever made. Okay, moving up. Fatal Fury, Shti of the Wolves. So, Fatal Fury. This is the Saudi Crown Prince funded sequel to a 30-year-old fighting game that he liked. And despite what I will call Street Fighter 6 isms, like how it has a really good a really good armor attack that leads to insane combos and damage. The EX moves that don't EXs having their own gauge that is completely separate from super meter, including having a penalty state for using too much meter too fast. Right? It's City of the Wolves is basically Street Fighter 6 for people that don't like Street Fighter 6 basically. It takes the core mechanical ideas that Street Fighter 6 have and gives it to and applies like some generalized like Mark of the Wolves things like TOP and feints. It's kind of like 1.5 games without. City of the Wolves is fucking weird, right? Because it's like it's technically it's technically a sequel. I mean not technically. It is a sequel to Mark of the Wolves, but outside of superficial things like feints and like the supers and like TOP and stuff, it doesn't really feel like it. It's kind of weird, right? It feels more like, how do we take KOF and make it more like Street Fighter 6? And Fatal Fury is using Fatal Fury as a conduit. It's a really weird fucking game. Like, in terms of how it feels in comparison to other Fatal Fury games. But at the same time, Fatal Fury has never really been consistent in how it's played, right? There's, like, Fatal Fury has, like, 4, maybe 5, depending on how you slice it, distinct eras in how the gameplay functions, despite having sharing like mechanical things, right? But like Fatal Fury 1 and 2 and Special are like, that's its own era, and then you get like Fatal Fury 3 and like Real Bout 1, which is kind of like its own thing. Fatal Fury 3, Real Bout 1 are like its own era, and then you get Real Bout Special. Real Bout Special is kind of like an outlier in its own series, because like you can like hit people against the environment and it stuns them. But yeah, Fatal Fury 3 and Real Bout 1. Those are like those like really go into like the environment. You can like bring people out, and yeah, you can knock people out of the ring, out of the stage, and win matches that way. Real Bout Special got rid of ring outs, but replaced that with stage hazards basically, and that's kind of its own thing because that never came back. So that's kind of its own outlier. And then you have Real Bout 2, and like Dominated Mind, which are like, which kind of like narrow the focus down. Like you don't have like large areas anymore. They're kind of like simplified. They're like one plane or like 2 planes. They got rid of stage gimmicks. And some stages in Real Bout 2 don't even have lanes. It plays the most like a normal fighting game, except it has like chain combos, like it like a bit like not target combos. They do kind of function like chains, honestly, in like 3D games, or like you just press these buttons in sequence and you get like a whole combo. But you combine that with like the really tight controls and like special moves and supers and stuff, like 2D mechanical stuff like that, right? That's its own era. Mark of the Wolves honestly should have its own entry. Mark of the Wolves is kind of its own era because it's the most like a contemporary of its time fighting game. But you get the TOP mechanic, which basically gives you a slight attack or defense buff depending on where in your life bar you put it. But you get like feints and you get parries. Like mechanically, it is, I would say, the most mechanically dense and it was basically made as a direct competitor to what Third Strike was at the time, or rather Street Fighter 3. I don't think Third Strike was out at the time. No, I don't think Third Strike was out at the time when Market Levels came out. But like generally, like Street Fighter 3, like okay, we're going to do a time skip. We're gonna make the most beautiful game you've ever seen. We're gonna have parries. We're gonna simplify like supers and stuff. But no, Mark of the Wolves is like a very strange game, even within the Fatal Fury series. It is very much its own thing that is kind of separate from every other game in the series, right? And then you have a bunch of spin-offs, and then you have City of the Wolves, which also is kind of its own thing. It's City of the Wolves is more true to the spirit of where SNK was mentally when making Mark of the Wolves, in that we are making this to compete with Street Fighter directly, in that kind of way. And so City of the Wolves is less of a mechanical, less of a sequel to City of the Wolves, and more of like, yeah, no, it's Fatal Fury again, and we are going to making this game to compete with Street Fighter again, right? Because City of Mark of the Wolves did have a sequel plan, like City of Mark of the Wolves 2, and literally nothing from that sequel. I mean, the sequel was canceled because bankruptcy. SNK was going through their first bankruptcy, right? So basically, everything that was planned for that sequel was basically canceled, scrapped, and none of those ideas were reused for City of the Wolves. It's very much its own thing, despite heavily leaning towards the old thing for nostalgia points. I would say that City of the Wolves is like a good. City of the Wolves is a good game. It is just straight up a good game, but it has the problem of A, being a sequel to a game that's like 25 years old. No, even in the fighting game scene, there are few people. If you are not an SNK head, which is to say, if you are not American, then you don't. If you fuck, I fucked that up. I fucked it up. If you are an American, you don't care about SNK games. Simple as. You might care. You might think You might think KOF is neat. You might think King of Fighters is neat, and it is. But that's really the extent of it. The larger history of SNK and its games and its large influence and its vast library of games, that's really more of a Mexico thing, a Brazilian thing, a Chinese thing, a Japanese thing. Like it's and also a fucking Middle Eastern thing. Marco Rodriguez, his name was in Mark of the Wolves, came out in 1999, by the way. His name outside of America, outside of Japan, I mean, was changed from Marco Rodriguez to Kushnud Butt because of, as a bit of lip service to the massive Middle Eastern SNK scene. SNK games are popular and beloved all over the world except America. It's North America, I should say. It's quite fascinating, honestly. What was I talking about? Right, so I can acknowledge that City of Wolves, good game, great game even, but it comes with a huge asterisk. That being, one, is not very popular. So if you want finding games, you're gonna have to go to a Discord for it, which is like the biggest death nail when it comes to getting people interested in your game. I want to play a game. I just want to hop online and play a game. Well, you can't do that. There's not that many people playing it. Well, if not many people playing it, then that must mean game is bad. Because unfortunately, fighting games are popularity contests. If you don't have if there are not a lot of people playing your game, then people will think that the game is bad. Because if your game was good, more people would be playing it. Right? No, I don't think any genre is dictated harder by number fagging than fighting games. It sucks. It sucks so bad. Anyway, City of Wolves is a good game, but not many people playing it because people that do play it are kind of people that are kind of burned on Street Fighter 6. The people that are playing City of Wolves are people that were A, burned by Street Fighter 6, or B, people that have been playing Fatal Fury for like 30 years. you're not gonna get a lot of fresh blood in this game. If you ever decide to hop in this game, you're gonna get absolutely demolished in ways that you didn't even know were physically possible. And some people are into that, right? Some people like to hop in and get trounced because it lets them see what the upper level of the game is immediately, and then they can work towards that. But most people don't like that. Most people do not want to come home from work, boot up a game, and have get the shit kicked out of them for like an hour. I get it. Fighting games are a hard genre to get people into. I don't blame these developers. I really don't. But it's a good game. It's a good game that brings in that also like by sticking to like City of the Wolves sticks to a lot of old things. Like its execution, like it has difficult, like in comparison to every other game in the market right now, or every other like popular main game on the market right now. Like it is executionally, it does have demanding execution. If you want to it is a game where optimizing damage is actually really fucking hard. You have to be fast, or you have to be extremely fast or extremely knowledgeable to maximize damage potential. And there are characters that just have looping offense, and if you do not know the hyper specific way to handle it, you fucking die immediately. It is a game where like character gimmicks are pretty fucking strong. Where yes, there are universal system mechanics that kind of even the curve a little bit, but like if you're facing a character with a strong gimmick and you just do not know how to deal with it, you will lose 80% of the time. It is a game where like tiers are highly important. Not the single most deciding factor in a game, but like they are extremely important in City of the Wolves. And if you can't hang with that, that's fine. I suggest playing it anyway because it's an SNK game. It's an SNK game, and SNK games are really cool, and they have like the best music in all of fighting games. I'm not taking back what I said, but like I do think that the soundtrack to City of the Wolves is a bit of a downgrade. I think it leans way too hard into like jazz and big band, which is not a problem in and of itself. But it's SNK games generally tend to have. I mean, to be fair, most SNK games tend to have like a rock soundtrack. So going all in on jazz is fine because a lot of the most iconic music in Mark of the Wolves are like jazz or big band, Sunrise on the Train, Bad Girl, even Sympathy for the Wolves. Like a lot of like the real banger tracks in the game are all like jazz or jazz inspired, jazz fusion. But it wasn't the entire soundtrack. It wasn't the entire soundtrack. City of the Wolves had a large mix of styles. Even though Mark of the Wolves did not have a large soundtrack, it was pretty eclectic, pretty diverse actually. You got your jazz, you got your rock, you got fucking metal, you got like this cool like orchestral, like ominous orchestral thing going on with Gade, right? Techno with a Hokusamaru. But City of the Wolves goes all in like no, because of like no, City of the Wolves goes all in on jazz, except for its intro title theme, Chain Reaction, which is the hottest banger of 2000, which is the hottest banger of 2006. I say that as a good thing, by the way. The Chain Reaction fucks so good. It's the song's so good. Okay. Next game. Ooh. There we go. Okay. Under Night in Birth. I don't know the subtitle of this one. Sis Celeste. Under Night in Birth. The anime game representation of Evo. So Under Night in Birth is basically the spiritual sequel to Melty Blood, and then Melty Blood came back. So Under Night's kind of like, I mean, Under Night has always been its own thing, but it was always built on the foundation that was set by Melty Blood, which in and of itself was built on the foundation that was set by Asuka 120% Burning Fest. And as you're able to tell, these are some fucking anime ass titles. And Japanese anime fighting game titles are always the least sensical things in the fucking world, and I love them for that. What the fuck is a Blaze Blue? What is a Guilty Gear? What is a what is a Nitro Plus Blaster Heroine's Infinite Duel? What the fuck is an Aquapaza? We just don't know. Anyway, Under Night in Birth, really cool game. Has a, in addition to being anime game, anime fighter, so lots of air, ground movement is slow, air movement is fast. You have double jumps, you have air. Okay, well actually, Under Night in Birth actually is kind of a anime game bracket, subversive close bracket, where it doesn't have a lot of the insane air options that other anime fighting games have. Like for example, there is no air dash in Under Night. You get a double jump, and you get like a super jump. You basically get like a super jump. You get a double jump, and you get like a super jump, and that's kind of it. The big thing, there's two big things about Under Night. And number one is that is how to explain this, is reverse beat. What is reverse beat? So in basically every fighting game at this point, you are afforded, like, let's say, for example, let's say you are afforded like different strengths of attack. Like you have a light attack, a medium attack, and a heavy attack. In most fighting games, you can just combo in light into medium into heavy, and that's a natural combo, and you can use that to like kind of like as a way to like start your offense. It exists as a way to kind of like, it started off as a way to ease people into doing cool combos, and it kind of expanded into being like an entire genre in and of itself. As games got faster to as games would get faster to accommodate for how much easier it was to do damage, the games themselves would get faster, and movement would get faster, and right. But anyway, so you can go from like A to B, like a light attack to mid attack to heavy attack, instant sequence, like just bum bum bum, and like use that as a start to your offense, right? It's pretty, it's in like damn near every fighting game at this point. Reverse beat allows you to do that same thing but backwards. You can go from heavy to medium to light, or go from heavy to light, or go from medium to light. So this means that you could do a combo that goes from like light attack to heavy attack and then down to medium attack, right? Or how you would use it, or how most people use it in action Under Night, was just that you would do like medium into heavy and then to light, because the thing is that because light attacks are really fast, if you're attacking an opponent who's blocking, if they block the heavies are always punishable. So if I block the heavy, I can punish you. Well, I cancel my heavy into my light attack, which makes it hard. I mean, it's not impossible to punish. For some, it is like, yeah, no, I chained from this into the light. You can't punish me now. And for most, it's like, yeah, no, okay, I see that you're trying to do that. I know they're gonna do that, and then I can counterattack immediately. It makes stagger pressure really fucking scary. It's Under Night is a I'm trying to find how to describe this. Under Night's pretty scary. Like if you are unfamiliar with how fighting games function, I'd say Under Night is really scary. But I think Under Night, more than most, have done a good job of tutorializing its game. I know that people hate tutorials, and I understand that, but I think that the tutorials of Under Night are actually really smart because it what it does is that instead of being just combo trials, which a lot of them are, what it does is that it tells you and shows you the hows and whys the buttons work the way they do. And for the combo trials that people like to complain about, like, oh, what do you mean? Oh, this shit's so crazy, which it is. But what it does is that the combo trials are built around your characters. Like the combo trials are built around one single combo. So instead of being like, here's a combo, here's an entirely different combo that you kind of need to figure out. Here's another one, another one, another one, another one. They get more and more and more and more and more complex. What Internet does is like, okay, here is a basic combo that your character does, and here are different scenarios that you can use this combo in. Like, oh, this is how you do it on the ground. Here's how you do that combo, but in the air. Here's how you do that combo when your opponent is. Here's a overhead conversion of the same combo, and then the builds on it. Okay, here's the same combo, but use your super at the end of it. Okay, now do this. Now do it in the air. Now do it in this other scenario, right? And it just builds and builds and builds and builds. But it keeps the bones of what you were doing consistent. And so by the end of it, you're doing like counter hit, overhead, double jump conversions. But because it's built off of that same like 1, 2, 3 special super that you were taught at like in hour one, it doesn't feel as daunting. Because like, oh, it's just this one combo. And here's how it's like your character's entire kit was built around this one sequence of moves. Now that's not entirely true. I mean, yes, I mean that is true. Yes, and as the games get played more by people that play it more and learn more and more shit, that kind of stuff does eventually get added back into the tutorial. But I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Anyway, Under Night's cool. The second thing that Under Night has is something called Grid. And Grid is basically a tug of war that is constantly happening in the game. It's a grid is basically this tiny meter at the bottom of the screen that constantly fills up over time. And basically, and you build grid blocks by doing offensive actions like walking forward or attacking, right? And I think it's like every 10 seconds, when the grid meter fills up, whoever has more grid blocks at the end will get a small buff. A small buff and a implicitly large buff. And what I mean by that is like, you get, first of all, you get like a 10% damage increase, which is pretty cool. But more importantly than that, you get access to, oh shit, what was it called? I think it's Veil? I forget. Anyway, you get a 10% damage increase, but more importantly than that, you get access to a system that lets you exchange your grid blocks for more meter to do supers. But you can only do that if you have like the grid power up. Vorpal! It's called Vorpal. Yeah, so when you unlock, so in Vorpal state, you get a 10% damage increase, and you can take the grid blocks that you have, that you can take the current number, the grid blocks that you have, and you can convert it into meter so that your next, convert it into meter for like more damage or for more reversals or whatever. It's really cool. And because it's like every 10 seconds or so, it's constantly happening throughout the match. And you will see situations where like, oh, okay, I do not want to do this big combo right now because that would actually put my opponent in Vorpal. So I'm going to drop this combo and go for, instead, I'm going to change this, instead of doing for a super damaging combo, I'm going to go for like a hard knockdown. It's going to leave the opponent inactionable for a long time, and then I'm going to charge up my grid blocks so that I will be the one that get guaranteed Vorpal. It's like this constant jockeying for this really good mechanic of like, yeah, it's just free meter. So there's like this constant like tug of war happening in the middle of the normal match. It's really fucking cool. It's really cool. I would say that I would say that Under Night is a I was gonna say it's a good game to watch if you want to see a medicated anime fighting game. You could watch Under Night, but Guilty Gear Strive is already that. So Under Night is kind of like how to explain this. This is gonna be an old joke, but Under Night in Birth is quite unironically the closest thing that we have to quote unquote anime Street Fighter, where it's like Street Fighter, but you get like some of the movement and the speed of like later anime games and like wacky character gimmicks. It's very fast and you can't get lost you can't get lost if you don't quite understand how grid works. But it's really fun to watch. It's really fun to watch, and it's really fun to see people get opened up by low attack, dash up throw. Like basic strike throw. It is always fun seeing people get blown up by strike throw mix. Okay, next game. Meow. Grand Blue Fantasy Basis Rising. Speaking of medicated anime games, I feel like Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising is like I wasted my joke too early. I should have said this is anime Street Fighter, because this is like it has the aesthetics of a crazy anime game, but it actually plays like it has the grounded footsies that Street Fighter is known for. Like it's a very grounded game. But it's very fast, and it has like insane mental stack because there's like 10 mechanics that are happening in the game all at once. But you can also just kind of ignore all of that. They don't matter all that much. It's kind of weird, honestly. Hey, I'm alone. How you doing? Choconnichi, what's up, bitch? I'm just talking a bit about the fighting games that are going to be at Evo this year. Well, next year. Because I want to go back to doing dark streams where I don't announce I'm going live and I just say or do shit that I feel like doing. So now I'm doing this. So Grand Blue, right? I wasted a joke early, but this is actually anime Street Fighter. Like, it has the look of like the crazy like ArcSys hyper super fast anime games, but it's really just it's more of a poking game. It's lots of maintaining distance, lots of pokes into like special for a hard knockdown, set up your Oki, right? It's character gimmicks are really strong because it's fascinating, right? Because like I would say that Grand Blue Fantasy Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising. I think Grand Blue Fantasy is the easiest game to learn because every character basically does the same combo. You do button EX move, button EX move, button EX move, and then if you have it, use a super. And that's the combo theory for every character in the game on a basic level, and it's really good. It's optimal for every single character, and where the which frees up like, or rather, that's like when you're up close. That's what you do. Where the true character variety in Grand Blue comes is when you're not up close at kissing distance. When you're not in like kissing distance and you're like in like mid range or far range, that's where character gimmicks really come into play. And I think that's an interesting way to handle a fighting game where like, yeah, no, getting in is the hard part. But once you're in, you can just do this easy, like piss easy sequence, which lets you get your damage in real quick, and then you're back to neutral. And now we gotta play this like this back and forth game all over again. This back and forth spacing game. It's quite ingenious. The one thing I do not like about Rising, about the sequel, updated sequel expansion Rising, compared to regular Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, is how it handles cooldowns. Because Grand Blue is a MMO game, not MMO game, a phone game. a mobile phone game, JRPG. It's built around JRPG skills and stuff. And how the fighting game handled it was that, oh, if you use the normal input for a special move, then it's treated like a normal move. You could just do it again whenever you want. But if you use the special button to do a move, it locks the move for like a couple of seconds. Like it gives it a longer cooldown. And the reason why this works on a high level, this is because if you want to do the move, you can do it at a low level and just press the button. But it's like, well, but that's unfair. Pro people could do it all the time. And the answer is kind of. Because the thing is, this Grand Blue Fantasy Versus is like the only game I can think of in recent memory. I mean, there are a couple other games that did this, but I can't think of any that did this in recent memory. That not only gives you the option to do a normal input for a special, but not only that gives you a normal input special and a button shortcut special, but it does not give you a penalty. It does not give you a damage penalty for using the easy mode special. And what this means is that for upper level players, it means that there is also a competitive benefit to using easy mode specials, because you not having to do the entire motion for a special means that you can get the special out faster. So if your reactions or if your prediction is really good and you use the easy mode special, yeah, it locks you out of using it for longer than doing it manually, but you got it. You made the right decision. And my brain's fried. It had a benefit in competitive level as well. So what Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising does is that it gets rid of that entire mechanic of like, oh yeah, if you use the easy mode special, it locks it up for a couple of seconds, and it just got rid of that entirely. And there's no damage penalty either. So it kind of ends up in this scenario where like, there's no practical reason to use the special move inputs in the game anymore. I mean, I think you get like a slight damage bonus, but damage scaling kicks in so fucking fast that it's not worth it. And even in neutral, it's also not worth it because like the damage penalty isn't that much of a problem. I mean, yeah, for damage optimization, you'd want to do it. Or if you're just used to it, that's fine. But, like, in terms of, like, developing a strategy around do I do the full motion or do I do the button, that's completely gone. But I guess that makes it easier for new players or something. I don't know. I don't know the philosophy of why they changed it. I used to know, but I completely forgot. It's gone. It left my head. Anyway, Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising. Good game. It's got a freemium trial that's mostly generous. I say mostly because it has the rotating thing of like, oh yeah, you get like 4 free characters that are constantly rotating. I argue that with the DLC expansions, it should be bumped up to 6. Like Gran and Jita. Okay, for marketing, I would say Gran and Jita should be the always unlock P1 and P2, but they're also like basically the same character. I would argue that it could probably be like maybe like 7. Because I feel like you should get one of each major archetype. You get one Shoto, so that'd be like Gran and or Jita. Get a grappler like La Diva. Get a zoner like Metera. And those are the main 3. Like your I guess 6 would be like your super speedy. Would be like your super speedy mix-up character. So that covers your basic 4, and then you get like another 4 of constantly rotating. But you want to, I feel like if you're gonna do like the whole freemium rotating roster thing, you should, for a fighting game, you should at the very least have like one of every archetype available at all times. Because Shotos, while they are very cool and easy to play, they're also the most boring characters. Especially people that are kind of like getting their toes into fighting games, you want to give people options to play more than one character. Having a consistent more than one character. I think. Anyway, Rise of Aether 2. I know nothing about this game, I'm gonna be real. I played a little bit of Rise of Aether 1, and then I stopped because I didn't like that I could not play it on pad. I mean, I could play it on pad, but like the problem, it has the Smash thing where like, oh, you have to tilt the stick to walk and then move the stick all the way to run, and it's like, and despite the fact that like on keyboard, if you play Rivals 8 on keyboard, you can, if you play on keyboard, you could double tap a movement key to run, but not on pad. It's strange and I don't like it. Rise of Faith the one, pretty cool. I have it. I played it a little bit. It has a workshop where people just make their own fucking characters. If I remember correctly, one of the deals workshop characters that was in Rise of Aether 1 became a real character in Rise of Aether 2. It's like the like karate like bear girl or whatever. She's pretty cool. She does like crystals and shit. Um Rise of Aether, Smash like. That's all I got. I don't really play Smash games. I it did good enough to get a sequel, so I guess that's pretty good. I don't know. Like, getting into Smash like games is something that I feel like I should be doing, just so that I have any point of comparison for other games of this specific niche. Well, not really niche because Smash is like the biggest fighting game in the world, but this subgenre of fighting games is something I never really was interested in, and I want to change that. I've already talked to Elf about how I have Slippy, so whenever he's up to it, we could just run sets, and I'll just learn how to play the game the hard way. But I think that'd be fun. I think that'd be fun. I don't mind getting the shit kicked out of me for like 5 hours as I learn how to play a fighting game. Okay, next game. Let's say that. Invincible versus. So. Okay, so Invincible versus is the AstroTurf game. Every Evo there has to be like an AstroTurf game, despite the fact that one of the golden rules of Evo for a long time was that a game has to be like have been released for at least like 6 months before deciding on whether or not it should be added to the official Evo lineup. And that broke, like, I know that Blaze Blue cross tag battle was like one of the really big breakers of that rule. Like to the point that it being in part of Evo was literally on the fucking box in its marketing. It's Anyway, yeah, Invisible Versus is going to be the AstroTurf marketing game. Doesn't mean it's bad. Does not mean that it's bad. It just means that the game is unproven, so it's gonna be a bit spotty on whether or not the game is actually gonna be like fun to watch and or compete in, because the game's not out. We don't know yet. But from what I have seen and what I have heard, it is a Marvel. It's a Marvel style tag team game. But how it handles tag combat is that how to say this? How it handles tags is that assists are I forget, man. Cause it's this, and then there's Tokan also, and like I'm trying to figure like wait how there's because there has been a tag game renaissance for tag fighters, right? Dragon Ball Fighters got an update is getting an update out of fucking nowhere with a new character. Invincible Versus is coming out. 2XKO is coming out, and Maximilian had his own thing with like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinity and Beyond. Marvel 3 had a massive resurgence because people actually people learned how to actually hack that game, like how to hack that game and like add characters and animations to it. So Marvel versus Capcom 3 has now this massive mod pack with like over like 200 new characters built from just people, passionate people. It, and of course, putting the caps on all that is Marvel Tokon. So that's, oh yeah, and Hunter Nin Impact, which sucks apparently. I wouldn't know. I haven't played it. So good. Right now is a good time if you like tag fighters. I'll say that. Um, Invisible Versus, from what I can tell, big damage, like massive damage. Um, assists are mostly combo. Assists are mostly used for combos. I heard Sanjam describe it as a tag fighter for people that don't like tag fighters, and overall, just weird game to people that play Marvel. But yep, but the problem is that Marvel is like an enigma in its own subgenre, in that it is so massively influential that all other games are defined by either how well they play by Marvel or how differently they play for Marvel. It's kind of fascinating, honestly. But Invisible Versus, from what I can tell, is a tag team game, but the tag team is medicated. It's mostly used for combo extensions, and you do get assists and snapbacks. Obviously, that's standard, but they're nowhere near as like oppressive as they are in Marvel games. Any big ones I love? Hold up a second. Why did I just get that? Huh? Anyone big ones I love? Tag fighters? Uh, I've never been that big in tag fighters, honestly. I held a grudge. I held a grudge against Marvel for a long time because getting my group of friends to play any fighting game that was not Marvel or Tekken was fucking impossible. I was here wanting to explore the whole genre, and it's like, no, you have to choose between these two games because these are the games I'm good at. Not me, but like those were two games my friends were good at. It's like, eh. So I held a vendetta against those games for a long time, but I'm getting over it. I'm getting over it slowly, certainly getting over it. Um, Skullgirls is a tag game. I guess I could say that. It would technically be accurate. Skullgirls is big for a while, and I like it. And I don't play it as much as I feel like I should, considering how much I like the game because it's basically Darkstalkers 4. Give it that. Oh yeah. Okay. I don't know. I have not been doing my research on Invisible Versus, so I don't know how good it actually is. Every pro that's playing it has described it as being weird, which is not inherently good or bad. Just like, yeah, this game's weird. But we'll see how that ends up. Yeah, okay. All right, next game. Guilty Gear Strive. Guilty Gear Strive, no brainer, absolutely a no brainer. The most popular and successful Guilty Gear game that's ever been made, and it only cost the entire audience of the pre. And it only costs the loyalty of. Bah, bah, bah. Guilty Gear Strive is the most popular and most successful Guilty Gear game that's ever been, and all it cost to get there was the loyalty of the people that made Guilty Gear what it was. But games are a business, and you got to do what's good for business. And I'm not gonna say Strive's a bad game. It's not. I can acknowledge I've been playing it in bits and pieces off stream. It's a solid game. It's not what I want out of a Guilty Gear game, so there's that mental disconnect that I have. But I would be lying through my fucking teeth if I said it was bad. It's not. Um, but again, I have such a strong. nostalgia for Guilty Gear, because that was like one of the earliest like uh off meta fighting games that I've ever played, and it truly expanded my eyes into like how weird and how strange and insane fighting games could get when you break away from, you know, your Street Fighters and your Tekkens and your Mortal Kombats and shit, right? And Guilty Gear was there for a lot of people, right? And you know, the treatment of Strive soured basically everybody that played Guilty Gear up to that point, but it brought in like the normie audience. I still have not been able to fully mentally process that I can go outside and say the words Guilty Gear and there is a chance that people will know what the fuck I'm referring to. Not on then like any deep level, but people go like, oh yeah, Guilty Gear, you know, May and like Brisket and like Society, right? People have an understanding of what the fuck I'm saying, and that I still have not been able to fully process that. But yeah, no, Guilty Gear, there was never any doubt this was going to show up again. It's still going strong all these years, which for a more niche title is always good to see, even if the game itself is not what I want to see, you know? Next game. Virtua Fighter. Virtua Fighter 5 World Stage. So this game, I respect Virtua Fighter immensely, but I'll be the first to tell you that this does not belong here. Not because the game is bad, it's not. But the thing about Virtua Fighter is that Virtua Fighter is Japan's game. More than anything, like more than any other fighting game I can think of, Virtua Fighter is at its best when it's played by Japanese people. And I feel like this game is here in in Evo Vegas because of marketing. Sega wants to up their marketing, and that's fair. But I feel like the greatest marketing for Virtua Fighter is having it being played by people that are deeply passionate about it and have been for like 30 years. Not to say that Americans aren't passionate about Virtua Fighter, because most Americans don't know that Virtua Fighter even exists. It's one of those games. There is a small hardcore fan base of Virtua Fighter players in America, but even I would say that even at their best, I would even say even at their best, an American Virtua Fighter player is like the equivalent of like a middling Japanese Virtua Fighter player. Virtua Fighter in Japan is more than just a game. It is like, it was damn near a cultural revolution. Like, being the best Virtua Fighter player in Japan means something. Like, there were like blood feuds going on between not only in Japan but like in Korea and like there were blood feuds that were happening in Japan. There were blood feuds that were happening between Japan and Korea over who was the best Virtua Fighter player. Like, it ran deep over in Japan and and Korea, right? It and like that level of passion ain't there. Like, America does not have its own version. America does not have its own version of Beat Tribe Cup. Beat Tribe Cup is an event that happens every 2 years in Japan, where they basically just like, it is a day long. It is a 1 day long, and I mean the entire fucking day, Virtua Fighter team tournament. 5-on-5. You get 5 dudes, and you go to this place and you play Virtua Fighter all fucking day. Single elimination. Play Virtua Fighter all day. What's the prize? There is none. It's just for the love of the game, and it's like the most hyped thing every single year. You have Beat Tribe Cup. You have pre-Beat Tribe Cup, which is like the one that happens in the off season basically. But like, it's so good, dude. Beat Tribe Cup is absolutely amazing, and America